Yes, this is Chris in the shed, minus Brad. This is HBS special with DJ Cash Money, who's over here at the moment, and he's been playing in Bristol, Bournemouth and London. And when were you supposed to play in Brighton?
Yeah, but the show got cancelled.
Never mind. But yeah, we have got a great interview coming up with the man, all about Philly history, how he started his digging and all sorts. One thing we didn't mention though was a book, right?
Yeah. Everybody knows, or if you don't know, I'm a huge collector, not just with records, with everything. Toys, posters, bugged out stuff. I'm working on a book next year called Cash and His Cool Stuff. Alright? And you will be able to probably purchase it from my website, www.therealdjcashmoney.com.
So is it finished?
No, I haven't even started it, man.
Oh, right.
But I'm getting, you know, it's just getting the photographers and
right.
But this book will be part of my legacy because it's going to have some stuff in there that no one else has seen. I'm the only one who has it. So
yeah, well, I want that book. Can I get a signed one?
Absolutely.
There you go, nice.
Come on, man, I'm in the shed, bro.
Yeah, well, it's shed shop. There you go. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, well, please, yeah, get that, and also because there's a new chopped herring mix CD that you've got a mixtape coming out soon as well, right?
Yeah, Fly Fishing Volume 4.
Brilliant, lovely, excellent. Right, so anyway, let's go to the interview. Cash Money, welcome to the Shed Shop.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Yeah, like with everyone that we interview for the show, basically it's always how you got started.
Okay.
So, where did it all begin, and well, when was it as well? I mean, and go right back to the very beginning.
Okay. Well, this is how I got started. Records. I used to play the songs for my my mom and dad's house parties they used to do, and that gave me a chance to stay up late. You know, with the help from my uncles. So yeah, I just got the knack for picking tunes that would keep the dance floor rocking. And when hip hop came into play, I basically was listening to what Grandmaster Flash was doing, and I was listening to the breaks he was cutting up.
And how early was that? Because obviously New York isn't that far from Philly. Right. So when did hip hop from New York start infiltrating Philadelphia? I
would say around, it was definitely the 70s.
Right,
yeah,
okay.
You know, it was the disco era.
Of course.
You know, Chic came out, was it like 78,
so,
79?
78, 79, yeah.
Yeah. So when I heard, I mean, I heard the record, Good Times,
yeah.
And I heard Grandmaster Flash and what he was doing with it.
Sure.
Like he was extended the break.
And were they coming down though as tapes? You know, these
yeah,
sort of
New York City tapes, yeah.
Right.
Cassette tapes.
Sure.
And which were dubbed and dubbed and dubbed and dubbed.
So by the time they got to you, it was just a big hiss.
Yes, yes, it was. Sounded like you were cooking bacon. So.
But and so in the late 70s, because that's one thing that I was a little bit unsure of in regards to, because obviously Philadelphia's got a massive hip hop pedigree in regards to stuff that was coming out even in the early 80s,
right?
And some of the record labels that were popping out and even putting out stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I always did wonder when it kind of started down there. Obviously, what was going on in the Bronx and Brooklyn, you know, made its way down. But I was wondering, when did it start really kicking off in Philadelphia?
I mean, there was always DJs there that would hook up. You know, back in the day, it was about your sound system.
Sure.
So you know, you'll have somebody like the guys back in Philly. There was a guy named Disco Rat,
right,
who would set up in a park. He had an ice cream truck, right, and he'd have all his speakers and the generators and stuff. And then there was another guy named Captain Boogie who had just an incredible sound system.
Right.
But they weren't really that good DJs.
Sure.
I shouldn't say that. Their style was basically put the record on and let it play.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
So it wasn't known as hip hop, but it was a similar thing that was happening in the parks in New York and other.
Yeah, and you know, they were grabbing the crowds because, you know, you had the loudest sound system.
Sure.
And your sound was nice and clean.
Right.
that's where everybody, that's how you were getting your name.
Sure.
You know, it wasn't until actually Captain Boogie he saw me perform somewhere, and he was at this big show, and he asked me to get on and perform. And
right.
I did like a quick 3-minute routine.
And what year would that have been?
I don't know what year it was, but I will say this: Roxanne, Roxanne by the UTFO.
So about 84, 85?
Just came out.
Right.
Yeah. And, I mean, the place was packed. And he allowed me to do my little routine, and the crowd went crazy. And that was kind of like the start of me being known.
So, before that, how did you first start? I mean, obviously the stuff was coming out, or you were listening to Grandmaster Flash and whatever tapes were coming down. When did you first get your turntables and start trying to do that yourself?
Oh, I was, let me see. I would honestly say around 1980, 81.
Well, okay.
I was still in high school, man. So, yeah, I was just learning how to, I couldn't even afford a proper turntable. I had the one with the stem.
Right.
Had one of those, and I think I had like a Techniques B101 or something like that, belt-driven turntable.
Right.
Yeah, but I was trying to learn how to blend, and because that was the big thing. That's what all the DJs were doing. They were blending.
Well, I guess because of it, you just coming out of the disco era, but that's what all the DJs were doing.
Right. And yeah, I was learning how to do that. Then I heard Grandmaster Flash, and I was learning how to do what he was doing. And then there was a guy that lived around my neighborhood named Grand Wizard Rasheen.
Okay.
Because, you know, Grandmaster Flash, they were in New York.
Of course.
You know, Rasheen lived around the corner from me.
Sure.
So he was part of this group called the Super Bad Disco. And Rasheen was more of a technical DJ. He was doing that, you know, going back and forth and stuff like that.
Sure.
So he taught me, he was my mentor. But they had another guy in the group that was known for digging for records and finding breaks.
Okay.
His name was Grand Slam DJ Jam.
Right.
He lived right across the street from Rasheen. So I used to be over both of their houses learning, just sucking up the knowledge, man.
Yeah.
But Grand Slam DJ Jam taught me how to look for records and breaks. And in order to be a great DJ back then, it was about the beats that you were playing.
Much like it was in New York, it was you know same thing, right? And
we never shared our information. It was a secret thing. Like
sure.
You would find a break and cover it.
Yeah.
So if you're you're doing a park jam and you're playing this break that everyone is dancing to, so many DJs would be running up to the DJ booth. What is that? Can't tell you, bro. Can't tell you, man. You gotta see me the next time I play. But that's the way it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this was still early 80s, before even your chance to really sort of go out and shine, I guess. Right. And so when you did start, were you, I mean, obviously you were with these two guys, but was there another crew that you, who else, I mean, were there other people that were doing it?
Oh, yeah, man, absolutely. There was all different crews from the city.
Sure.
The guy that was really known and was, he was the #1 DJ in Philly. I mean, it was like wherever he was at, the crowd was there. It was a guy named Grandmaster Nell. Okay. Yeah, and I remember seeing him, man. I'm just like, I want that popularity like he has. Sure. You know, and yeah, he had the city on lock, man. Really? Back in the day, yeah.
Okay, and what years were these?
I would say around 80, 81.
So man. Still early 80s.
Yeah, I was in high school, man.
And what sort of stuff? I mean, I know obviously there was cover-ups on the breaks and stuff like that, but what was the style that was being played in 80, 81? Was it still your sort of like soul boogie as well as sort of like funk breaks?
Like Vaughn Mason.
Sure.
Bounce rock, roll skate.
Which you know quite well.
Right. It was just different breaks, man. He would be cutting. Sure. I'm gonna be honest with you. When the ultimate beats and breaks came out, you know, everyone had that record. Yeah. But if you had the original records, oh man, you were it.
There was a status.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be like, oh man, he knows his stuff. Like, yo, that's Daisy Lake. That's Seventh Wonder.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the original album or 12-inch.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Okay. And I guess those come out a little later as well, when about 85, 86, I suppose, the Ultimate Breaks and Beats albums. But the original Octopus ones, I think, maybe a little bit before.
Well, the very first one was the yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every DJ had that.
Yeah.
But every DJ didn't have the original.
Of course. So early on, there was always a big sort of fight for supremacy in regards to who had the originals, who had the best breaks.
Yep. And you know what? It wasn't like the records were rare.
Yeah.
You either knew them or you didn't.
Yeah.
You know? That was the thing.
Sure. And were there any, and in regards to, obviously, you know, because it was still an early time for hip hop in New York as well. I mean, you know, it had only been a couple of years since, say, Rapper's Delight had come out. Right. Did any of this MC crews from New York make it down to Philadelphia? Because I know they went down into like Jersey and Trenton and places like that, but did like Cold Crush or anyone ever come down to Philly? Or?
I didn't really see Cold Crush, but I did see Flash used to come down there, and the Fearless Four. Curtis Blow, of course, he was there because he had like the #1 record at that time. Dougie Fresh, like, you know, early Doug.
Yeah.
You know, it was just it was a great time. Man.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
You know, me being a young kid, man, just looking at this, it's just like, wow. You know. So,
so sort of going forward a few years, the first record that you were on was Scratching to the Funk, right? Is that right?
The first
release?
No.
No? Tell me more.
Yeah, I was on this label. Scratching to the Funk was part of the Virtue. It was a Virtue.
That's
label.
right.
Right.
And that was 86, right?
No, I don't know when that came out.
Right.
The records before, there was a guy named Kid Fresh that I was friends with.
Sure.
He was an MC, and so he was on that label, and so he asked me to come in and do some scratches. I think one of the songs was called Girlfriend, and then they wanted to do this other thing called Taking It to the Floor. And me being there, they had asked me to do, like, I guess the guy who owned Trouble Funk asked me to do a mix, which became Scratching to the Funk.
Sure.
I never cut up any of the Trouble Funk stuff ever. He just had the records.
So that was the first time you cut up Pump Me Up?
Yeah, all that was one take.
Yeah. Yeah,
it was one take. He was just like, yo, man, I need you to do what you do on it. It was like one take. Next thing I know, it became this big thing.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know that, not until like just recently, that they used to play that on the radio in New York all the time.
Right, okay.
Like Red Alert. And so I was with my good friend DJ Scratch, and he was telling me, yeah, man, we heard that on the radio, and Red Alert was playing it. We were like, oh my gosh, Red Alert got better on the turn. Like, they thought it was him. He was like, no, man, it's this record by Cash Money. It's a funny story.
Yeah.
Man. Yep.
So you had actually been on Wax before that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I told you, Kid Fresh.
Right, that's right.
Kid Fresh. But this was all because of the Virtue label.
Sure.
And so it was a studio that we used to do our recordings and stuff there.
Right.
And so that guy from that owned the Trouble Funk stuff ended up partnering up with, I guess, Virtue.
Gotcha.
They came out with Sound Makers or whatever.
That's right. That's the label, isn't it, on the top? Yeah.
It's crazy because if you notice, there's two pressings of that.
One's got your name on it and one hasn't, right?
And I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Yeah. The reason why is because I found out that this my record was being, like, it was very popular and was selling, and so I had a guy I was working with who was in the industry, because he had ties with people in the industry. Sure. Pretty much. And so he said, yeah, I'm going to go check it out and see if I can get you your royalties. I was like, royalties? Where are they? So he ended up, I guess, calling the company. So they basically said that they don't want to pay me, so they'll take my name off of it. So that's the reason why it's DJ Cash Money and Dr. Funkenstein, and then the next one that says just Dr. Funkenstein.
So the first one had your name on it?
Yeah, that was the very first pressing.
Right, and then they took them off so they didn't have to pay you?
Yeah.
That was nice of them.
Yeah.
But obviously, so then you've obviously quite established within sort of like, you know, I mean, and to say also for 1985-86, the scratching on that was way ahead of most of the stuff that was going on, even in New York. I mean, where did you pick up your talent from? I'm not, you know.
To be honest with you, man, I used to eat, sleep, just trying to do crazy things on the turntables.
Sure.
Like, and I never knew. I just was a guy that was just making noise in my bedroom and on tapes. And actually, you know, I'm making these cassette tapes that my cousins and friends were going to college. And next thing you know, you're getting calls to perform in Virginia and places like that. Like, and it's crazy, man, for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where it just came. It was just me just being creative.
Sure. You know? But also I suppose at the time in the mid to late 80s, there was an awful lot of stuff coming out of Philly, wasn't there? There were some big groups as well. There was all sorts of, you know, I mean, obviously Schoolie D had been out for a little while. Obviously the Tough Crew were coming out. There was obviously Jazzy Jeff. There was, you know, 3D, Cool C, Steady B. Or, you know, I mean,
Crew,
exactly. I mean, there's, you know, tons of them. And all the DJs were great. I mean, and if you listen to some of the New York stuff from the same era, the DJs weren't quite as good. I mean, why do you think that was? What was happening in Philadelphia at the time just to make the hip hop so good?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I think a lot of it has to do with our radio.
Right.
Like WDAS, which was our station that played our, you know, the R&B and soul and stuff like that, man. They had some great DJs on there, man, that all of us studied. Plus, we had a lot of college. Like there was a college radio station called WKDU, and they had some incredible DJs on there. So, you know, us listening to these guys, and you know, next thing you know, you're creating your own style. Yeah. You know, so I really like to give them the credit, man.
Sure.
For the soul, because they it was a good learning curve for us, man. Like all of us, we all were on. Yeah. Like focused on whenever those radio shows came on.
Right.
You know.
Were there any rivalries back then in regards
absolutely. It's hip hop, man.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I'm just trying to.
My crew's better than your crew, or you want to battle?
I'm British. I got to ask it in a polite way. Come on, who was fucking with who? Come on,
when I came out, pretty much. To be honest with you, I really didn't battle too much because I was just so far ahead of everybody. Like, I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm not trying to be arrogant or anything like that, but I'm.
Well, is that because people wouldn't battle you?
They wouldn't battle me because I was just so far ahead.
Yeah.
You know. And everyone heard of me.
Sure.
I was the guy, man. Yeah. You know. Then we started doing. I ended up linking up with Jazzy Jeff. Because he was doing, because I lived out in the suburbs of Philly, and he was doing a lot of the parties in the city. So actually, me and him were supposed to battle. Right. But I was into.
That would have been good, wouldn't it?
I would have crushed Jeff. I'm being honest.
No, it's fine.
No, seriously. Yeah. I had a new style no one's ever seen before.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And Jeff was doing something. He was doing what everybody else was kind of doing, but he was very clean and neat with it. Yes. You know, as he is today, he's one of the cleanest DJs out there.
Yeah. Still, he's amazing. You know,
but the creativity part of it is where I reign supreme, man. Right. You know, I've just always been a creative guy.
Yeah. You know? And I'm guessing because of that, I mean, is this how you got the record deal with Sleeping Bag in regards?
I got the record deal with Sleeping Bag because there was a concert. It was a Philly versus New York. Right. Salt and Pepper were battling one of our hometown heroes. Her name was Yvette Money. Yeah. I was supposed to battle this guy, Cutmaster DC, who was one of my great friends. Sure. It's Jazzy Jeff was battling somebody else, whatever. I met Mantronics there.
Okay.
The very first time I ever seen anybody use a drum machine. The SP12 it was. the very first SB12.
Right.
And I never forget, me and Jeff were standing right there, like, what the hell is going on? And he put on Mardi Gras by Bob James, and he had it going just like this. Do do do, you know how it goes. Do 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 do. He had it going. Do bing 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 bing. Me and Jeff were like this. What the fuck is this? Like, we'd never seen anything like that. So if you listen to Jazzy Jeff's first album, he's the rapper under the
second album. That
yeah. You'll hear a lot of the
okay
raw thing, and that was his influence for that. You know what I mean? Like, and Mantronics basically saw me perform and said, "Hey man, I have this label. Would you like to be? We'd like to sign you." So that's how that happened that day.
Jeez.
And me and Mantronics been the best of friends ever since, man.
Still friends?
I haven't I haven't spoken to him in a while, but we've always been. He's been a mentor to me, man, and you know, it's a crazy story because if you listen to Ugly People Be Quiet, that was the time that, like, he signed us, and then he ended up he did Ugly People Be Quiet for us and Play It Cool, but then he left the label. He was going
okay.
So what happened was there was a producer named Herbie Love who was producing Salt and Pepper. Yeah, he was the hot guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Sleeping Bag didn't, because I was a new artist, they didn't have faith in me to produce my own record. So Herbie, basically, we paid Herbie all this money for him to just come in there and turn up a hi-hat. Hey, Cash, what do you think? Yeah, man. Just take the rest
so
of
even though it says Herbie Love supplying the beat.
Yeah, so if you listen to that, it's supposed to say Herbie Love and Mantronics supplying the beat.
Ah, is that why it's stuttered?
Yeah, they took Mantronic's name out of it.
Right, okay.
So
obviously, it was a double A side, really, wasn't it? But always Play It Cool
was on the
and then Ugly People Be Quiet. Yeah. I mean, just as an aside, I always loved it because you always used quirky British bands in your. You know what I mean? I remember there was that bit on your album where you used a bit of The Art of Noise, To Be in England in the Summertime. Obviously, you used Tears for Fears on Ugly People Be Quiet. And I love Tears for Fears, kind of, you know what I mean? They were great, but not many other people were using those types of samples. People were still, you know, were very much using the James Brown breaks and whatever was on the Armour Breaks and Beats albums. It was excellent. What made you come up with those?
It's the ear, man.
Yeah.
I hear things, and like for me, I've never just collected soul or funk. I collect everything. Things that, I don't know, it's just something that I gravitate to a sound.
Sure.
I'm like, yo, man, I can use that. You know, and you know,
works.
Yeah, it does. It works for me. So
did you do the 12 and then get the album deal, or was it you do the 12, you got the album, you know, and then exactly Find an Ugly Woman as well follows, or because I mean you had a pretty good reign in sort of like 88, 89 in regards to sort of like your vinyl stuff.
Yeah, well, what helped was the fact that I won these DJ competitions.
Yeah, that's right.
So, you know, I mean, you couldn't be on a better pedestal than that.
No, that's right.
So.
Totally. So let's talk about those.
Yeah.
In regards to the DMC, because it was the DMC and the...
I won the New Music Seminar.
New Music Seminar first, and then it was the DMC.
Yeah, I met Tony Prince at the New Music Seminar, and he said, hey man, we have this DJ competition.
Yeah.
It'd be like a world finals, but you have to win American to get over. I said, oh, because I was on a quest to be the best DJ on the absolute planet.
Sure.
On the planet, man. Like that was my thing I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And you know, I ended up winning the New Music Seminar in New York, and I won the American Championship in California. Came over here to represent the U.S., which was crazy because when I got here, all the DJs were already fans of mine. They were asking me for my autograph.
Right. So because your record had already been out, because you used it, didn't you, as part of your routine?
Right.
Yeah.
So, and it was a DJ friendly record. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
So,
and let's face it, you tore it up. I mean, you know, it's still now one of the best pieces of, and sadly, you know what I mean, the footage of it, some of it's a bit muffled and stuff at the beginning, you know, in regards to the way it was taped and the sort of flashing shots and stuff like that. But for any aspiring DJ to watch that, it was, I mean, like I was telling you earlier, I had the video, I wore it out, just sort of like, just watching your routine. It wasn't, couldn't give a shit about anybody else who'd been on there at all. I just wanted to watch yours, you know. It was absolutely, I mean, it was amazing, and I think it must have changed the way people all over the world then viewed, well, this is what we can do, or this is what we must do in order to actually become a really great DJ, because it was effortless. It was amazing.
You know what's crazy, because somebody told me this, and being the fact that I'm over, you know, I live in the States, you know, I don't know, because I just do my tours and I leave, but somebody told me, it's like, you know, you were the #1 DJ in the 80s, man. Like, yeah, everybody like looked at you and followed you, from guys that are house DJs now, because they all started spinning hip-hop at first, and they moved on. I was like, you know, I never thought of it like
it's true, it is.
And I just saw, it was crazy, because a couple years ago, me and David Guetta were doing a festival, and I met him for the very first time, and he came over and just hugged me, like, and I'm like, you know, what's going on with you, bro? Like, he was like, look, you came to Paris in 1989 and you changed my life forever. I was like, wow. Yeah,
I mean, I imagine there must be thousands of people, if not millions of people out there, you know, DJs who would probably feel the same way. I'm not going to suck up too much, obviously. It's, you know, an interview of so forth. You keep going. But it really was. I mean, let's face it, it was a killer performance. And playing, you know, Dougie Fresh played this only at night.
Right.
The transform that you did over that.
Right.
Amazing. And obviously DJ Noise was trying to replicate it at the
which he did, man.
Yeah, which he did, which was
he took it to another level, man.
Yeah.
And that's what this is all about.
Of course, man. It is. Yeah, totally.
Just a stepping stone for the creativity, man.
Why didn't you, I mean, obviously you were at the top of your game after, you know, the 88 finals and stuff like that. What happened in 89 and 90 in regards to, I mean, how come you didn't
they wouldn't allow me.
Really?
Yeah, they told me I couldn't. They said, this was the exact words.
Well, it wouldn't be fair.
They said I would overshadow the DJs, because you have to understand something. I had a hit record. Our album was gold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I'm touring already. And I was trying to explain to Tony Prince, because what happened was, I wanted not to defend, I just wanted to do an exhibition. Like, know, since I was there, he just didn't want to, he thought I would overshadow the DJs.
God.
Yeah. But, you know, to be honest with you,
he's a funny guy.
To be honest with you, that routine I would have did would have.
Yeah.
It would have been something incredible.
Yeah, because I think Cutmaster Swift won in '89.
Yeah.
And then, you know, obviously, I think, you know, it changed ever so slightly. But I'm sorry, Swifty, but it wasn't as good as what you'd done the year before. You know, it was very different. You know, it was obviously, you know, more of a.
My whole concept of me doing that was, hey, you win this competition, you get a record deal, you tour the world. This is what happens when you win this competition.
Sure.
So that's the way that I looked at it. So, and it was crazy because they edited that part out of the finals when I was handing Swift the. I said he was the winner.
Right.
And Tony Prince was up there, and he was like, "Don't diss me, Cash." I was pissed, man. Like, I was so mad because I was a judge, and I was told that I can do a performance, and I was so hyped. I had a brand new, something new that no one's ever seen before. I was going to do, and he was like, "No." I was like, "Man." So,
but wouldn't there have been other stuff in the States? Obviously, I mean, I don't think the ITF had started at it, but
no.
But was there nothing else that you could?
DMC was the absolute.
It was the only thing.
It was the competition. I thank Tony Prince, man, all the time, because he's helped change my life and the DJ culture.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, at one time, the DMC, like, to wear that jacket.
Yeah.
You were a special person, man.
Totally.
You know, everybody wanted that jacket.
Oh, I wanted one.
Yeah.
I wanted one. Totally.
Yeah.
I wanted one. I remember even the sort of, like, you know, the UK finalists I think DJ J had one, and he had this beautiful beige one, and I was like, wow, I want one of those. And I think Billy Business had one, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah,
but I'm saying it's one thing you could buy one, but when you
to win one,
yeah,
totally,
to earn it. Like, I didn't buy my jacket, I earned it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So to be that winner, that champion, I mean, everybody knew you. You were a household name. Like, I became a household name. I never even been to Hong Kong, and the DJs there knew who I was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's how, I think that's honestly how DJ culture started. That DMC, man.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So you'd had the album, and like you said, it'd gone gold, and this was what, about 89, wasn't
89,
it? 89. So what happened after that? I know there was obviously some production and stuff like that, and obviously the face of hip hop was starting to slightly change as well a little bit. So so what was going on with you after obviously winning the DMCs, having a gold album and stuff like that, and what happened obviously with Sleeping Bag and
yeah, well, Sleeping Bag ended up folding, and what happened? Yeah, me and Marv kind of parted ways, and then I ended up getting a chance to do some production work for we're putting some scratches on a group's album, PM Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they flew me. They were actually recording over here. So they flew me over here. I ended up doing the DJ work for them, and we hit it off so good. Like, they just asked me if I wanted to be part of the group.
So I saw PM Dawn live because they warmed up for De La Soul and Tribe Called Quest in London in about '92. You weren't.
I wasn't.
No, I was going to say. I thought I would have recognised you.
Yeah, no, I was there during the Bliss album.
Okay.
Yeah, that time.
Sure.
So yeah, I wasn't a part of all that controversy stuff. That wasn't me.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I ended up touring with them, and which they, if it wasn't for them, man, I don't think I would have been on these stages with these artists that I was with.
Sure.
Like, I'm on tour with Paul McCartney.
Jeez.
Yeah, man. We just so much. It was, to be honest with you, man, it was a great time in my life, man.
Yeah.
And what was crazy was we did the Greenpeace tour, I think, and it was Peter Gabriel, Paul McCartney, this group Crowded House, Kravitz was on there. I mean, we were just doing some amazing things. It was funny because Paul McCartney would, like, there was a part in the show where they'd say, "Hey, Cash, show him why you DJ Cash Money." So I'll do a routine. Paul McCartney would be like behind the stage, like looking like faithfully. Like, I just amazed him.
Really?
Yeah. So I ended up becoming real cool with his daughter, Stella. And she used to tell me, "My dad just loves your part when you do that stuff." Like,
right.
Yeah. So
not many people can say that, can they? Really?
Yeah,
you know?
man. Like, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney?
Yeah.
Like it's something I'm doing? And what's crazy is we had a little talk, man, and he's a big collector of like cartoons and things, man. Right. Yeah. So,
which is obviously a big part of your life as well.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So in regards to so were you just with PM Dawn just for that album?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And then I think they went through some label issues or whatever. Then I was kind of like, good thing I saved some money. So then I tried to do some production and things.
Sure.
And I was heavy into producing, man. But the industry, the way it was in the States, was a lot of the A&R people at the labels were producers themselves.
Right.
So I'd be giving them my material. They never would give it to the artists. So this was a problem I was having. So I remember, me and Biz Marquis are like the best of friends. Biz was saying, "Cash, you need to get back to what you were known for." And I was like, he goes, "You have some incredible production." He goes, "But it's too competitive. You need to get back into DJing." So he was already doing DJ. He was doing like college parties and stuff. Yeah. So I used to go with him to a couple of his events and find out what the the college kids were into, like the kind of music and stuff. So I would collect it. So I started doing like parties.
Yeah.
It's the best move I ever made in my life, man.
Would this have been around the sort of time that you started doing your old school mixtapes?
Yeah, yep.
They were fucking
Yep.
brilliant.
Yeah, and the thing was, I was having such a hard time getting my production into the right hands of artists.
Yeah.
That I said, you know what, I'm gonna start doing my remixes on my own tapes.
Sure.
So, and that's how that all started.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, funnily enough, I was at a DMC UK final, and I think it must have been 93 or no, 94, was that something like that.
Right.
And but this guy was selling these tapes,
Right.
and I remember buying yours,
Right.
and I was like listening to it, and I was like, wow, you know what I mean? Because we all always loved old school hip hop, but you had some stuff that I'd never heard, and you're just cutting them up, and I was like,
right,
brilliant. and you brought out quite quite an extensive sort of stuff in the 90s going into the 2000s in regards to those sort of mixtapes, and how well were they received? I mean,
they were received. I mean, that's, hey, you have a popular tape, which means you have people that want to see you. Next thing you know, a promoter is asking you to come to his town.
Sure.
And that's how the whole DJ thing. Now they see me doing my party rocking, the club, and that's how you start getting hired and hired and hired. And next thing you know, you get a booking agent is calling you. Now they want to represent you.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing from that point on to now.
Sure.
And I love the DJ clubs and festivals and stuff, because you know what? There's no bullshit.
Yeah.
It's me and the crowd.
Yeah. It's not as if there's someone coming up to you going, have you got, this record by the Spice Girls?
Right,
you know what I mean? Or whatever.
Yeah. I don't do the requesting. Yeah.
And was it around 97 that you did the summit in Italy? Rimini, was it?
Rimini, Italy, yeah.
Yeah. And how did that come about? Obviously, Tony Prince didn't want you to overshadow in 1989, so then you were asked to come back and do a showcase in Italy.
Let me explain this as well. I don't know why Tony Prince's decision was not to have me do that, but they've always made me feel like family. You understand? Like, to be honest with you, is probably one of the biggest champions, if not the biggest champion they've ever had. As far as
its impact,
knowing the big impact.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because at that time, no one's ever seen anyone like me.
No.
So Tony Prince basically said, hey, I want to do a tour of the legends. So I was one of the first legends to do the tour. So it was kind of like around like 99.
Yeah.
I did a little run of shows here in the UK.
Was that when you did Scratch? Or was
Yeah, that was one of them. So it was kind of like, because people haven't seen me in a while.
Yeah.
So next thing you know, they're like, oh my gosh, he killed the party. No, we got to bring him back. And that's, like I said, every time I do a party, it's always somebody wants to bring me back. And that's how I've been surviving, man.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't had a record out since the 80s or early 90s, for real.
Yeah.
I've just been doing like little mixtapes and here and there, but it's been the impact I've been having.
Have you ever thought of it? Obviously, because there's a whole new generation of people now that are into. I mean, obviously, like with Joe and Bombay, Feel Most Chill, the Febreze brothers, all of these guys sort of. I think you'd rock something now if you put it out. I think it would do really well.
It's going to happen now, because it's like you said, it's a different time. Yeah. Technology.
Yeah.
Has changed things.
Totally.
You know what I mean? So I have to do this. Like I have something, a mix I just did for this label, Chopped Herring.
Yeah.
It's dropping like in a week or so.
Cool.
Which is just, he basically contacted me and said, hey man, I got these bunch of tunes. Pick the best ones out and see what you can do with them. Yeah. And, and the mix came out. I mean, I love it. Yeah. Some underground stuff. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I'm getting ready to do some proper stuff now, because I miss it, man. Yeah, of course. I miss it. Yeah. And now that there is this, well, I wouldn't say renewed. It's always been there, but interest, and that I think it really would work well. But yeah. Okay, now.
besides being the best DJs on the planet and at rocking a party, you're probably one of the biggest diggers in regards to records and toys and cartoons and everything else. Obviously, I'm you know, that started young when you were sort of like starting out to DJ,
right?
But it's obviously sort of spiraled off into a whole new dimension in regards to yeah. Tell us a little bit about, you know, the collection, where it's at now, and how you get your records, what sort of stuff you're into now.
Okay, well, back in the day, to be considered a good DJ, it was about the songs you had, and you didn't want the same songs that the other DJ had, you know, meaning like the breaks and beats and stuff. So, like I said, I came from a group, Super Bad Disco, which was there was a guy in the group named Grand Slam DJ Jam. He was the best record collector I've seen at that time. Yeah, and he basically took me along with him. I remember we went to this warehouse, and the records were like 10 cents, man. And I immediately started grabbing like Walt Disney, Bugs Bunny records and stuff like that, just for the spoken word. Yeah, you know. He was like, "Yo, man, nah, you need to be over here with this funk and soul stuff, like in these rock breaks." I was like, "For real?" And he said, "Listen." Because they had a
they had a deck.
Yeah, they had a turntable in there. He was like, I was like, what the? He goes, get yourself 2, 3, 4 copies of those. They're like 10 cents.
And that's how it started.
That's how it started.
That's how the bug bit.
Since that day, I've been hooked. Yeah. So the beauty of it is that I'm able to go to all these different countries with my touring. Yeah. And I know all the dealers, man, now. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some of the stories you were telling me earlier, you know, oh yeah, Kev Darge gave me this $1,000 record, and, you know, fine. I need friends like yours, I have to say. You know what it is, man? It's respect, man.
Of course, of course.
That's exactly what it is. Because at the end of the day, all of us are DJs, and it doesn't matter if you're a turntablist or whatever. As long as you're spinning some funk or something from your soul, it doesn't matter what it is, because good music is good music at the end of the day. Totally, yeah. You know?
And is there anything that you've been after for, you know, all these years? Any elusive one that you've just
always, man? It's never ending, man.
No, but any specific one like, I just never quite got it, or someone outbid me or whatever, or someone found it in front of me and I never quite got it, or
back in the day, I was heavy on my 12 inches. Sure. That doesn't sound right. Pause. Yeah.
That's staying
Pause
in.
On that. I was heavy. I was like, how can I rephrase that? The 12-inch records I was collecting. Okay. Yeah. That's right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You know, because all the break beats like Apache and, you know, a lot of those records like that. Let's Dance by Pleasure. Sure. You know, as of...
So you're talking albums as well as singles? Yeah. And you're talking about 12 inches as the format of the...
format of the... Sure. Right. It wasn't until... I mean, I collected 45s, but I don't think I really got into them until... I'd say around 99, right. 98, 99. Yeah. I just went crazy. Because it's like, there's certain things.
Well, there's just so many things that you can only get on 45. Yeah. That you can only get in certain countries and stuff.
But just you playing this and you're playing that break beat on here. Yeah. Which is crazy. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then I seen guys like Shadow, DJ Shadow. Sure. Coming out with the records, with the records and the mixtapes that he was doing using just 45. So I was like, man, that's where I want to be, man. So even though I play a lot of these big events and stuff, this is my passion.
The 45s.
Yeah, 45s. I love them, man. I love them, and the fact that now it's like a big, like this crazy craze going on now.
Sure, yeah, yeah. No one looks at albums or 12-inch singles, you know, at all now. Right. I mean, you know, there's still collectors for obviously some of the indie hip hop on 12 and stuff like that. But yeah, it's all about rap 7s. You know, yeah.
I'm loving it, man.
Totally.
You know, because you know, over here in the UK, you guys had versions of things that came out that weren't available in the United States.
That's right.
So, you know, most people have to actually go on Discogs or eBay and find these things. Yeah. Where I'm over here, I'm with the dealer like yourself. Like, hey man, do you have this? Like, I might have something I'm looking for, but there's always something I don't know.
Totally. Well, I was glad that I actually played you a couple that you didn't have earlier.
Right.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. Cool. So what's next? Obviously, you know, you've just done a few shows here. You did Bristol, you did Bournemouth, you did London.
Right.
What's next on the agenda? Obviously, you got the chopped herring thing that's coming out soon.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that's on the horizon?
Right now, I'm going to regroup. I'm just changing my agency, booking agency, and looking to do more touring, especially in this area next year.
Cool.
And yeah, I'm gonna start putting out some material, man. So I've met a lot of indie guys that put out like Simon.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
We were talking yesterday.
Shed friend.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Chopped herring.
Yeah, totally. Man. There's the UK's got a very healthy scene right now in regards to sort of.
And to be honest with you, to be fair, I don't just want to just do hip hop. There's so much more.
Polka.
Listen.
bit of folk.
Listen, I'll do a polka song with some Run DMC MC drums under it, man. What?
Yeah. I think it would sell out. I really do. Yeah. 500 only, you know, sort of special edition numbered. Yeah, it'd fly out.
There you go. Do a dub version on the other side. Oh, come
Wicked.
On, man.
Nice. Well, I look forward to hearing absolutely everything, and it's been an absolute honour and a pleasure to have you in the shop, let alone in my shed.
Yes.
So yeah.
I've been to the infamous shed.
Yes. It's cold.
I'm honoured.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks ever so much.
Thank you, man.
That's it.
Yeah, and make sure everybody goes and checks my website out, www.therealdjcashmoney.com.
There you have it. Yeah, thanks Cash for that excellent interview. Any idea when you're going to be back in the country?
Definitely next year, man. I've been away from here touring for quite a while, and to be honest with you, these couple of shows that I've done, you guys really miss me and really love me genuinely, man, and I appreciate all the love here, man. You know, UK has been kind of like my second home.
Cool. Well, I mean,
I grew up with everyone here.
There you go.
You know, so
well, it's nice to know that we're liked.
Yeah, man. I love you. I love you guys. It's like a family reunion, man.
Cool.
You know?
Excellent. All right. Well, that's it from us this week. Please tune in again next week, and also get the book when it comes out, as well as the chopped herring mix tape, Fly Fishing with Cash Money. All right. That's it. Cool.
My man.
Nice.
All right.